Are outposts always good for king safety? When we think about chess, one question that often arises is whether outposts are always beneficial for king safety. Let's break this down in a way that makes it easy to understand. An outpost is a square on the board that is well supported by pawns and hard for the opponent to challenge. While they can be helpful, their effect on king safety is not always straightforward. First, let's look at how outposts can be good for king safety. One major advantage is that an outpost can control important squares. This control can limit the opponent's ability to move their pieces closer to your king. For example, if you have a knight on an outpost near your king, it can block potential threats and keep your king safer. Additionally, if a piece occupies an outpost and can defend the king, it adds another layer of protection. However, it is important to consider the downsides as well. Creating an outpost might mean moving your pawns in front of the king. This can weaken your pawn structure and expose your king to attacks. If your pawns are not solid, your king may become vulnerable. Another point to keep in mind is that focusing too much on outposts can distract you from controlling the center of the board. Central control is vital for king safety. If you spend too much time creating outposts, you might neglect this essential aspect of the game. So what should you do? The key is to find a balance. If an outpost can support a piece that defends the king without compromising your pawn structure, it can be a good move. But always be adaptable. Sometimes, creating an outpost may be necessary to counter your opponent's strategy, even if it carries some risk. In summary, outposts are not always good for king safety. Their impact depends on how they are used and whether they support or undermine your overall defensive strategy. A well-placed outpost can indeed help protect your king, but it is essential to consider the broader context of the game.